Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome back to the Crow's Nest. Welcome if you are new. We are a spiritual all-of-mind community learning as we grow along our ascension journey. So we're going to get into our monthly reading. This is an intuitive monthly planner. This is a reading that I found by Biddy Tarot. So since I found that reading, I was very inspired to do it for myself. And ever since then, I have been doing it monthly for myself on a personal basis. And for the last couple months or so, I've been offering it as a reading here on my YouTube channel, as well as a personal reading. So if you want to book that, the information will be in the description for you. But we'll go ahead and get into that message. So this is going to be all about what was it that worked for us in the past month, what was it that we learned, what is going to be the theme for the month ahead. We're also going to learn what didn't work for us, and we'll also take some time to set some goals and intentions and see if the cards align with the goals and intentions that we want to set forth based on this message coming through. So we'll go ahead and get into that. This is a timeless collective message, so it might not resonate with everyone, but although these are monthly readings that I do, it's, if it resonates with you at the time that it finds you, then it was meant for you at that time. I'll also link last month's message into this as well in the description if you want to go back and see if many of my readings tend to be in alignment with the previous ones. So if this message resonates with you, you might want to go back and see if there's more messages in that previous month for you as well. So let's go ahead and we'll get right into the tarot with what it is that worked for us in the past month or in the last couple weeks or few weeks for us. Okay, so on the stone today, I just kind of slid off the top of the deck. It's really interesting. As soon as I said that, sliding off the deck, I saw the part of the movie from Ferris Bueller's Day Off when he kind of slides down the hallway in his socks. So really interesting. So just kind of sliding in, I feel kind of like a groovy vibe from that. Just kind of having fun with life, being light and adventurous, and a little bit of trickster energy too, but in a lighthearted way. So the stone on the deck is the green aventurine, and this really is a stone that is all about good luck. And I really love that to follow last month's message, because we really did have overall a message about breaking cycles and stepping into new patterns that are going to help us to reach a higher state of being. So we're gonna go ahead and find out what is it that worked for us in the last few weeks. And if you're new here, my name is Crystaljoy, wounded healer and spiritual coach. So let's go ahead. Oh goodness, that was interesting. Let's see what that was. So it's the Three of Pentacles in the reverse position. So this is something that I've been seeing a lot in my last couple weeks of readings, really talking about the work that you're doing and kind of going on it alone. But this has been from hermit energy, from the sense of going within the self, journeying through the self, facing any shadows, bringing forward, and that, so last month's reading was right after the full moon in Scorpio. So that was all about deep inner healing and purging. And so there was a sense of withdrawal and spending time alone. And, that was even some of the goals and intentions that came through for us to set at the end of that reading, was to take some time to be in our own energy, to work on healing our energy, clearing away negative energy from our own aura field, and just taking time to refamiliarize ourselves with our own energy. Because the months leading up to that, I felt that, much like myself, you were very outgoing, doing a lot out in the community and just being very active throughout the summer months. And along that, there was energy that was kind of picked up and needed to be shooken off a little bit, because a lot of you I was picking up were very empathic, and so you were picking up a lot of energy that just wasn't your own, but it was creating a sense of confusion and dissociation, as well as a blockage from your intuition, because again, you had all this dense energy within your own energy, and it was really kind of bogging you down. I think bogging was even a word I used in the last reading, but that's not a word that I typically would use. So you really did follow that intuitive knowing that you needed to withdraw from that energy. You needed to take some time to look within yourself, use the light that you had to face your shadows within, clear away any of the shadows that didn't need to be there anymore. They never belonged there, right? And also kind of refamiliarizing yourself with your own energy, so that way when you set yourself back out into the world and are ready to collaborate with people again, and to come out of this like hermit energy, which I feel is something that most of you are doing right now, is kind of stepping out. Like I see someone opening a door and just like peeking their head out, like, can I come out? Is it okay out here? Um, so just kind of like testing out the energy, right? And so allowing yourself to step into collaborating with others. And this is all in regards to bringing forth the things that you've been working on. And that was something as well about how working with others will help you to bring forward those things that you have been working towards. So I think that's really great, because this time that we've taken to be in this sense of within our own energy, and in a healthy way, blocking ourselves off from the external energies, has just really allowed us to step back into a place where we feel that we no longer have to be kind of like hiding behind a door and wondering if it's safe for our energy to come out and mix with other energies, because now you've tapped back into a knowing of when your own energy is being affected by something other than yourself, and how to remove yourself from the situation to really protect your energy. And it's like you swore to yourself that you were also going to stand firm in this, protecting your energy, right? Because in the past, not protecting your energy, like that's, we're going to move into next, what is something that didn't work for us in the past few weeks. And that might have been something that was a lesson that we learned in this time when we were supposed to be journeying within, was that when we are not protecting our energy enough, the ways that our energy can be influenced and how it can have a negative impact on our own journey. So let's go ahead and find out, what was it that didn't work for us in the past few weeks. Oh mine. Oh, okay. Interesting. A lot just happened here. So I said interesting right away because the first two things that I saw was the Two of Swords in the reverse position and the Empress. So that's so beautiful, because last month's message was a message about how we needed to make a choice. That was some guidance and like a goal that we had to set, an intention was to make the choice about whether we were going to stay caught up in energies that we needed to release ourselves from, or if we were going to make that choice to release ourselves from that energy to return to a state of alignment within ourselves, a place of where we feel at peace within ourselves, and we feel that we are able to love and nurture and self-care and like nurture our soul, give our soul what it's really needing, and allowing ourselves to tap back into that place of the feminine that allows us to connect with our intuition. But what else happened here is, let's have a look here. I'm not going to look at all of this. It didn't turn over. We'll just tuck it back inside there. I do see here, though, the Wheel of Fortune, the Nine of Swords, and the Three of Cups. So the Wheel of Fortune is in the reverse position. And so what didn't work was just like allowing ourselves to stay stuck in those cycles, right? Just kind of like what I was saying right here, not making that choice. And so, by not making that choice, you didn't get to pass go or collect $200 or $300 in this case. You got caught up in the cycles. You had to remain within that cycle to spin the wheel and learn again, right? Not learn again. Take another opportunity to learn the lesson the way that it needed to be learned. Because like when you didn't make that choice to choose this higher route, higher path, higher state of consciousness. It created a lot of energy for yourself that you just really didn't want to be in. And these sleepless nights that it caused you, I see that really putting you in yet another cycle where you now were just like so burnt out because you were trying hard at the things that you were trying to accomplish, and trying to break free from these cycles to bring yourself into this state of alignment and intuition, into a higher state of consciousness. But there was a lesson that still had to be learned, and so you had to go back and revisit and relearn the lesson. And then it was almost this energy of where you were trying to learn the lesson and kind of spinning your wheels, right? Burning yourself out, and then this like burnout. And so now you're like, you're working really hard to get out of this cycle, but you're also working so hard that you're burning yourself out. And so now it's just like, you know, you need the sleep, you know, you need the rest, you're exhausted, you're burnt out, but you're trying so hard to get out of this that you can't sleep. You're having sleepless nights, you're having nightmares. And it's just like round and round and round and round it goes. I just heard where it stops, nobody knows. And then the Three of Cups on the upright position on top of all of that. And so where it stops, nobody knows. It's like you had these hopes for, you're like, okay, well, maybe while I'm like, you had a realization that you were relearning this cycle. And so you were like, well, round and round, where does it go? Where it stops, nobody knows. It's almost like you were just kind of like hanging on for the ride and hoping that the wheel would stop in a favorable position, not understanding yet that this was a cycle that had to be learned. And there was two ways that you could go about learning this. And so if that is resonating for you, you can, you know, go back and watch that message, or, you know, there's so much guidance that I can give in regards to how it is that we can learn from this cycle so that it, you know, we're not going up and spinning that wheel again and just hoping that it lands in a different place. It's up to us to choose to be within that alignment, but not only be within that alignment, but to stand in it. I just heard sit in it. Like the Empress sits on the throne and is just like so chill, you know? But and being able to remain in that place is also what I wanted to say, okay? So that was very powerful for what it was that did not work for us. So definitely want to try to take an opportunity to learn from those cycles. And I'm always here for you as well. There's so many things that I do to help to guide people aside from tarot. I work on numerology, so many different things that I'm also working on offering as other services. So you can always reach out, or even if you just need someone to just, you know, if you're needing to get connected to some other coaches or things like that, I'm happy to guide you on your way in whatever way it works for you, okay? So you can always send me an email, connect with me on social media. You can join the Crow's Nest community. We're a group there, and it's a private group, so everything within the group is safe. It's a safe space. So many ways that you can connect and get that support if you're really feeling like you need it, okay? So we'll get into now, what is it that we learned, right? So this is what didn't really work out for us, but what did we learn through that? And I feel like we definitely have a realization of the fact that we were trying to learn from this cycle, but there was something that was missed, and so we had to go back and do it again. And there is that awareness, but what else was it that was learned? Which was that? I feel like that was that card right there. Let's get another one. That wants to go that way. I feel like so many of the cards want to slide out the side of the deck, a lot like the stone did. It just kind of like slid out. It's like, I feel for you in regards to this cycle, you will find a victory, and it's going to be the sense of you feel like you just kind of like slid out of it. And then when, it's so funny, I just saw someone, you know, when you're trying to get on a bus, and you know, or like a train, and you know that door is going to close, right? You heard the bell and you see it sliding, and you run in and like you get in. And so it's like a moment of panic where you think you're going to get stuck in the door. But, you know, you get on the other side of the door, it closes behind you, and then you just like, it's cool, it's cool, it's cool, it's fine. You know, because you know everyone's looking at you. There's just like this sense of getting out just barely, like, it's like you even like lost your clothes along the way. Like you barely got out with the clothes on your back. But also kind of getting on the other side of it, like just pretending like you fell and you got up and you're like, that didn't happen. It's fine. No one saw that. But it's like your guides are like, we saw that. King of Swords in reverse and the Nine of Cups in the upright. So I feel that a big part of this cycle for us, the reasons that we had to go back and revisit this cycle to see what was it that we missed and needed to learn along this roundabout, it was a matter of not standing firm in speaking our truth and setting our boundaries. It's been a common theme for me in some of my readings in the last week about setting our boundaries, cutting out toxicity, whether that be toxic people, relationships, toxicity from within yourself, breaking patterns, whether that be negative self-talk, or I'm hearing self-sabotage right now, but there's also been an amount of like an overindulgence. Take that how it resonates. So what we're learning now is that learning by not being firm in our truth and what our boundaries are, our values, and because speaking about toxicity and toxic people, setting those boundaries and not allowing people to treat us in a way that just was never tolerable to us, but now having that strength to be able to say, cut the shit, enough. Like literally, as soon as I turned the card over, this king was like, I have so many swear words I want to say, but I'm not going to say them. I don't want to get in trouble by YouTube. So that's the energy that I feel from that, is you learned that you're like, I'm so done with this. No more. And it's funny because it just makes me think about this cycle once again, and how it's interesting because you're this energy where you're just like, had it no more, but it's just like, but behind closed doors, you're just kind of like, oh my gosh. But in front of everyone, when there's like an audience in front of you, like that train scenario or that bus, when you get on the other side of that door after like trying to run, and like everyone sees you get on the bus in a panic, but you try to be all cool. I'm feeling like for you, when you get on the other side of this cycle and you stand firm, like you can be this king, this so cut straight to the point of your boundaries when you're in that public scenario. But then when you get behind closed doors, you have this energy where you're like, holy crap. You don't, like, you feel like it's almost, this like sigh of relief where you're just like, again, that image about like when you fall and you get back up and you're like, no one saw that, it's cool. I feel that energy where like behind closed doors, you're like, I don't feel as cool as the way as everyone else just saw me be. It's really interesting. The energy that I get from that is also almost like you're kind of having a laugh at yourself, because the way that you were able to present yourself in the moment versus how you feel when you're behind closed doors processing this, when you were like, I've had it, just stop it with the crap. You're kind of looking back and you're like laughing. So you're like, who was that even? And my throat just kind of wants to close up a little bit now talking about that King of Swords. And then this Nine of Pentacles here, it's just like, this is because you were able to do this because, going back to last month's message, needing to learn about how to properly nourish your soul, properly give yourself the right amount of sustainable self-care and self-love. By being able to stand firm in these boundaries and your truth and your values, what you stand for, what you speak for, that is now giving you that sense of an emotional fulfillment. And I love the Nine of Pentacles as well. He kind of looks like he's got a bit of a trickster in front of his face, just kind of like, you didn't think I can do that, could you? So I really love that for you. I really love that you've really learned how to really get above really raise yourself above a situation that you feel was really meant to take you down. But again, I feel that this is a sense of victory in this lesson. In regards to, you know, what it was that we learned from that cycle in order to officially break the cycle so that we can move into what's next for the journey. So speaking about what's next, we're going to lurk into now for, lurk. It's really interesting because I keep picking up like trickster energy and the energy I'm getting from the Nine of Pentacles. And now we're talking about lurking. Interesting. I'm actually also seeing now there's a GIF. I really love it. It's this little girl and she's just like watching you, and she goes around the corner, and when you think she's gone, she comes back and she's like, I'm still watching you. I'm getting that like lurk, like watching you. Like that's almost like that's you right now, where you're just like your higher self kind of thing, or like your inner strength is just kind of still observing the situation and still just kind of like got your eye on everything. And I love that you're being very strong in protecting your energy. That's so amazing. So what is going to be the theme for the next few weeks ahead? The whole deck just wants to come out, so you're obviously working on a lot right now. What is going to be, thank you so much. Oh, I love that for you. It's the Lovers in the upright position. This is so great because, again, with last month's message talking about embarking on finding ways to not only nurture our soul and give ourselves the self-love and self-care that we need, but it was about a sustainable amount of that, not just giving yourselves little bits of self-love and self-care here and there. It was about finding a way to, like, a sustainable, like, I'm hearing routine. Like, it's almost like I'm seeing a calendar. Some of you actually went and like put it in your calendar. This is me time, which that is a really great practice to have. I could learn from that. I have my own ways as well of finding that balance to make sure that I am continually getting the proper nourishment and self-love and self-care that I need to do what I do and be who I am and shine the light that I do. And so this is about, you know, through learning these lessons, now we're able to stand in a place where we now know how to continue to love and nurture ourselves in a way that is sustainable. And we're going to be moving ahead through the next few weeks within this energy. So whatever it is that you're embarking on right now, whatever journey you're about to set on, I'm actually seeing a cruise ship again. That was in one of my recent timeless guidance messages. I actually did put a cruise ship in the title. I never put emojis in the title, so it's easy to find. So you can watch that if that resonates. But just you're moving into the month ahead, regardless of how much you have that you want to accomplish in the next few weeks. This isn't going to be a challenge for you. The theme for you is going to be that you are making this a priority for yourself. You understand now that you need this proper amount of nurture and love and care to be who you are. And I love that I just said to be who you are, because the title of last month's reading was, do you remember who you are, or get back to where you belong? I was channeling the song The Sign from Ace of Base. I thought I had the reading in front of me. Oh, it's going to pop up in a second here. So it was about you just like remembering, you're like, do you know where you belong, right? And it was all about like that song from the Ace of Base. And I kept channeling, get back to where you belong, right? And I really see that this is the theme for the month ahead, is you have not only returned back to where you belong within yourself, but you are going to be able to charge forth at all of the things that you have prepared to accomplish in this place. You are going to remain in this, continue to sustain yourself through proper nurture and care and self-love. So what we'll do next is just take a couple minutes for yourself. You can pause this if you'd like, to think about 3 goals and intentions that you want to set for the few weeks ahead. And we'll go ahead and find out with the tarot if what we get from the tarot is going to align with your goals and intentions. And if not, what you can do is just have a look at this message and what will come forth with the tarot, and find ways to take the lessons from this message and find out what are the ways that you can use that to adjust your goals and intentions to suit your highest good for the next few weeks ahead. So I'm going to go ahead now and just draw those 3 cards, but you can take a moment to pause if you need it. So let's find out some goals and intentions. There's 3 right there. I think all those 3 were really together too. Interesting. So the first thing to come through is the Hanged Man, but it is in the reverse position. So I feel this very much as about taking what was learned and bringing it to the surface. I actually like want to cough now too. This is really interesting. There's like a sense of bringing it to the surface. There's something still that needs to be spoken in regards to your truth. Like I actually feel choked up now all of a sudden, like even kind of short-winded, like kind of short of breath. But this is about, there might even be fear for you to bring to the surface to be released, maybe like anxiety, but about bringing things to the surface, like you've taken time, like I said, within like that kind of hermit mode energy, like in that place of like a sense of withdrawal, like isolation. Well, not isolation, more like solitude. And so while you were in that place, you were able to gain a new perspective. And so now it's about taking that new perspective and bringing it to the surface, like using it as a tool in the next few months ahead. I actually want to hiccup now, so definitely releasing of the fear. So, you've also gained new perspectives on, or will be gaining new perspectives on, how it is that you can release your fear to aid in this message about how it is that you can sustainably nurture and love and care for yourself. And then we also have the Seven of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles. I don't know why sometimes when I look at the cards, it's like I second guess myself, and there's like still a sense of you second guessing your intuition is what I feel like. Because as an intuitive reader, it's not even so much necessarily for me about the interpretation of the card. Sometimes, like if you know tarot, you might see me sometimes read cards in a way that are not necessarily exactly the interpretation of the card, but it's just the way that I intuitively read the cards based on the energy and, with the cards that they come with. Okay. So, but this is about the work that you've been putting in, the goals and intentions that you have, like I said, taking that new perspective and applying it to the work that you're doing, the things that you've been working on, and the things that you're going to continue to work on, but also the time that you're going to take to just kind of take a step back and acknowledge the things that you have accomplished. It's like harvest season for you in a sense, and it's like you've put in the work to harvest something, and you see that there's still so much more to harvest, and you're taking a moment to observe what is left to be harvested before you get back at that work. And I love that, because it's almost like you're taking a moment to rest in between the work. But I also do want to give some guidance here, because it's like you're not paying attention to what it is that you've already harvested. So take a moment to be grateful and acknowledge the things that you already have, the manifestations that you've already brought forward, this work that you've been doing for yourself. Just take a moment to give yourself credit for what you've already done, okay? And not just be so focused on what has to be done. Just take some time to be present is really a message that I'm getting. And then the Queen of Swords as well in the upright position. I just realized we have counterparts here. And I love, that's so strong, because for like a week in my Timeless Collective Guidance messages, I was channeling a negotiation between the inner masculine and feminine. And it was, what really kicked it off was about the inner masculine and feminine feeling as though neither was giving the other space and time, and what, like, holding enough space, like the space that the other deserves in order to speak like what's on their mind and their truths and their emotions, and just not holding enough space for one another in so many ways. But now we have those counterparts coming forward, and so that's such a beautiful message, because now it's like that balance has been recovered, that high priestess. And this is really, really interesting, because typically when we see the masculine and feminine, the masculine usually is looking at the feminine, and the feminine is usually looking at the divine. But right now the masculine is just looking ahead, and the feminine is actually looking to the masculine. Like, almost, it's like your inner feminine is like kind of worshiping your inner masculine right now, like just holding yourself, like acknowledging your own inner masculine, like, hey, you did it. Just a very humbled sense of cheering on your own inner masculine. And there's also a message as well about the swords. The masculine sword is kind of tipped to the side a little bit, but the feminine's is straight up. There we go. There it is, about the divine. The feminine is always focused on the divine, okay? So your inner feminine, you like, again, that sense of alignment, right? Your inner feminine is reached a place where you're in a sense of alignment. And there was also a message, a reading that I did about the inner feminine loving the masculine from the place of the inner feminine, rather than the inner masculine loving the self from the inner masculine. It was a message about the inner feminine loving the masculine from the feminine energy. And so I just love that we have the counterparts with the Empress here. And I also want to point out the Empress and the Nine of Cups, the energy going on here. And so you're gonna have so much more to show for having reached this place of alignment within yourself, and just continuing to work towards with that Queen of Swords here. I feel like the message with the Queen of Swords overall is continuing to not only speak your truth like you've been doing, like the King of Swords earlier in the message showed us how we really learned those lessons, and the things that weren't working for us, right? And so now with this inner feminine, there's a message about allowing the masculine to do what the inner masculine is doing, because the inner masculine is like, I'm getting the Knight of Swords again from last month's reading, okay, to go with this King of Swords, really charging at the opportunities and your abundance, your manifestations, everything that you want. And the feminine, just continuing to love your inner masculine from the place of the inner feminine, rather than leaving it up to the masculine to always be showing himself love. This is about the inner feminine showing that inner masculine that love. So that way the inner feminine is nurturing the inner masculine in a way that is allowing that masculine to charge towards everything that you're charging towards right now, but not forgetting to remember to nurture yourself and care for yourself, and remain feeling abundant in your own ability to love and nurture yourself, so that way you can continue to love the inner masculine from the place of the inner feminine, to keep in this place of balance and alignment, which is allowing your balanced dualities within yourself to just move forward in such a powerful place of truth and clarity and alignment. So this was a really powerful message. I hope it finds who it was meant for. And if it resonated, please be sure to like and comment, let me know, and subscribe to be notified when I post next. And I'll see you in my next reading.